Freeze!
Yeah, so then Ricky's record came next, right? Full for the Funk.
Oh,
And I was like, wow, man, Ricky, you are living the dream, you know, being from my side of the fence with DJing and writing and all that, and actually getting your own funk record.
you know, and I, to this day, I don't understand how, let me put this in the right words. That's a unique record. I haven't heard anything where someone took interviews, slammed the funk underneath it, gave it choruses and made hooks and actually arranged it to make sense, and it didn't kind of catch on within, other realms. It just boggles my mind. I thought that was one of the craziest, greatest, coolest, funkiest projects at that time. And with the connections, Rick has 1,000 connections, but sometimes he's actually working on a double album version of that. So he hasn't given up on that project. So he's also working on part 2, the Ricky Vincent CD or project part 2, but he still wants to put out a double album of the first one. So who knows, man? Who knows what might happen? It's just I just thought it was so unique. I really didn't. I thought, wow, if I didn't know this guy, I would buy this, or I would want to push this because it was so unique. I mean, with all our funk heroes on it too, being interviewed, talking just like how me and you were talking, right?
Yep.
So the world is strange. I mean, people are sensitive. The powers that be are very unique. So I'll just leave it right there.
How long did it take to do that project?
Oh, that one took a couple of years. When I say years, I mean definitely that. That took plenty of time. Rick did a lot of the arrangements too on that. I don't know if it's credited that way, but when he would come to my studio, he would hear something. He'd be like, "No, man, I needed to go." Ooh. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, right there, Phil. I needed to go. I don't even know what it was, but I would tell him, "You mean like this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, like that." So that's arranging, and that's what he basically did with a lot of those parts on some of them. I think there's only really one real I don't want to use the word commercial because that can be. There was one that I didn't do really too much on at all, except put it in the right spot where it needed to go or help with that part. I forget. I think the guy's name is Will Maggot. He did he produced the track, and it was truly a singing type song, no interview. So, but I think the way Rick put each song in different orders and how they flow to each other, he did an awesome job with it.
Well, what you're saying goes all the way back to James Brown with grunting out an arrangement,
Right. Don't know Rick doesn't know anything about the instruments, but he knows, I needed to go like this. Because on Funkonauts, we did about 10 different versions of that song. He had different artists playing and different folks. I won't say their names because their version didn't get used. And I said, Rick, I'll do it. Right, so I sat here. He's like, that's it. That's the way I wanted to go, just like that. I said, that's all you had to say, man, from the beginning. Because that song took months to do. I mean, because we were trying to do it like the album, not like the album, touch on it, don't touch on it. We went back and forth, and then finally just came to what you hear on the record now, the version that I ended up actually playing the instruments on.
I was going to ask, whose idea was it to bring back that Ohio Players track?
All of that is Ricky Vincent. That's all Rick, because I think he even got his kids chatting in the background saying "too funk" or not too funk. So that was pretty cool. Zoozilla pops up over there saying something crazy. I don't know who else. It's a lot of stuff going on that record, but that's one of my favorites on there.
Yeah, I remember I saw the Ohio Players. They billed it as debuting Funkanauts. They played the Roxy on Sunset Boulevard in 1978, and I was at that show in the front row. And,
wow!
And they did an early and a late show, and my friend and I like hung out, and we were able to like be at both of them. And we're sitting in the front in the second one, and I swear, like Merv, like on horns and stuff, was like doing like a double take, like looking at us, like you guys were just here.
Yeah. Show me your ticket. Your ticket's from the early show, huh?
Yeah. But Funkanauts, that was the first time they ever played it, I'm pretty sure.
Man, that was such a spacey track at the time, though. If you think about it, all that all that little Star Wars sound and stuff they was putting in there too. I was like, oh yeah, that's the track.
It did not take off like they had hoped it would, but yeah.
No, let's see, and that's just it. But look, we're talking about it, what, 40 years later? I mean, it's a lot of stuff don't take off like they expect or to be the big seller. And then it's those tracks that end up surviving the test of time.
Oh, yeah. When you say something like that, just immediately pops to my head like Cosmic Slop, you know?
Of course, right. I don't remember that being a radio hit, but it stands the test of time. I mean, from the beginning to that doom, 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 those first three notes right there on the drums, you know something crazy is about to happen. It just takes you on a journey.
That's another one of those ones, like we were talking about earlier. I never get tired of hearing Cosmic Slop.
No, that's one that can play. You can put it on right now. We can take a break and listen to it, and then talk about it after. That's how tight it was. And of course, different versions, right? Because you have the studio version, right, and then you have the hangar version from Hardcore Jollies, which is the version that I was accustomed to first.
Me too.
Then when I heard that
too.
studio version, I was like, that's okay. I guess it's being arranged. It was just different, but the same at the same time.
Yeah. When you came with 2017, the final chapter. Yeah, that was a false alarm, as it turns out. But with this record especially, I sensed some disenchantment with Phil the Funky Instrumentalist.
Yeah, he kind of put the instrumentalist in the corner somewhere and said, okay. And if you look at the album cover, it's dark. It was a dark time, man. I felt the dawn of Armageddon was upon us. I didn't see that, not with the funk, but with what was happening in the world at the time. I just didn't see that America was ready for a game show host to run it, and that kind of threw me off into another whole tangent that. Most of the albums up until then, you never heard me say a cuss word. On that one, like say different. It's like I'm just going to come at you one on one, look you dead in the eye and tell you this is what's coming. But I still wanted to make it as funky as hell at the same time. I wanted to put so much bump into it. I really wanted not only just what I was talking about to hit you, I wanted to make sure that that music was hitting you in the gut with every note to the very end, pretty much. Yeah.
Your
The final chapter, and I thought it was going to be the final chapter too. I actually thought I was going to say, you know what, I'm going to take a break. I mean, when I said break, I thought I was really going to semi-retire from recording under the name PTFI after that too. But as we get to the future is now, when we talk about that, things changed. You know, the outlook changed. I started to see more light at the end of the tunnel, if you will, with just the way things are going. So, but back to the final chapter. That first track, um, the electro hypnotic bump music, if you will, was at an all time. I had it turned up to 10, maybe even 12 on a scale of 1 to 10. I wanted to make sure that that bass hit you. That was that Moog keyboard and all of those little wink, 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 all those little intricate sounds all added in. I wanted to make sure, okay, funk isn't dead. Matter of fact, it's stronger than ever. Here you go. Have a piece.
Yeah, you took some. You were naming names too.
Patty, go put that pie away, huh? Yeah, well, Miss Patty LaBelle, I love her, but yeah, she was at one of the little commercials selling pies. So I was like, okay. It kind of that album reminded me a lot of when Let's Take It to the Stage, the concept of where George and those guys were calling out names, for like Sly and the Family Stone and all of that. So he kind of flipped the names around. I was like, I'm not even gonna flip the names. I'm just gonna say the names. And somebody gets mad, maybe that'll catapult it off into something, and who knows what happened. But it's all in fun. No real harm to anyone. Don't really want to hurt any feelings. Just want you to listen. Like George said, we're not mad. We just need a hit.
Well, that opening cut, like you said, I mean, that just grabs you right away. One of my favorites. And also BMMF.
I don't know what that stands for, but man, that was a fun track to do. That was a fun track. I actually, I don't know if I put down in the notes that I sent you that I actually got Rick, Phil, who else? It's a couple other folks, and they're just saying dot 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 dot. I had them hum the horn part, and so I tucked them away underneath there because I wanted to put that family vibe on this track too. So they seemed to like it, so it was cool. Like I said, man, I try not to cater to anyone, just to everyone, not to anyone, but I want to cater to everyone, which is kind of play on words, but I just want everyone to try to feel this funk, man. I want you to feel it, and then go back, listen to it again, and then take a second dose and really see where I'm trying to come from with it.
Yeah, and for me, and I gotta believe it's true for most diehard funketeers, the music comes first. The music has to hit the one. It has to be funky. I mean, it's got to grab you. It's got to hit you in that funky place.
Mm-hmm.
Lyrics are secondary. If it has thoughtful, good lyrics, all the better. You know what I mean? That's like icing on the funk cake.
Hey, you're talking to the instrumentalist. Of course, I know what you mean, man. That's part of my DNA. If the beat ain't hitting, you might as well just forget about it. But yeah, it's and then at times, if you really truly got something to say, a lot of the lyricists will disagree because it's poetry to them. So they want to come across and make sure that the vocals are, and what they're saying is just riding over whatever else is underneath. You hit the nail right on the head. I always invert it. I'm always going to put that beat up in front, because you might not even like what I'm saying, but at least I got you bobbing your head. You, and then you can come back and say, "Oh man, that dude's crazy. Why is he saying it? Damn, that music is hidden." You know, that's kind of that's my concept, and that's what I want to try to. That's what I want to keep rolling with till I have no more strength in my body to do it. I don't plan on stopping. I want to keep it at this pace. Hopefully, I can put out something every 2 years or less, but always for my inner circle of folks, such as Rick, try to keep working on his stuff, and also Zoot keep working on his stuff as well. So the future's going to be bright for us. I think we're going to be all right.
You're talking musically or world view now?
All it's got to get brighter, man. I was trying to see would I even try to touch on some other things that are happening with coronavirus and all this other stuff. I'm just gonna push all that stuff aside for a little while and really focus on some good stuff. And it's hard to find the good stuff. It's not a lot of it, but it's some still out there. So
you know what?
Try to sit around.
I always maintained that a lot of artists' best music, best works was when they were like angry. You know?
Yeah.
When you hear like Prince, then like Irresistible Bitch that we mentioned before, the angry Prince, where he's screaming. And Stevie Wonder, when he's doing, Living for the City, like especially like toward the end where he's mad, that's the stuff that just grips for me, just grips you.
Yeah. I'm still mad. I'm just I'm just gonna see what we can do. No telling, between the next 2 years with this, I'm open for both sides of the coin. I just don't want to be that angry guy all the time. There's a fun, lovable side too.
Not 24/7, but I'm just saying some artists, they kind of lose touch with that though, I think, and they get too watered down. But
no, absolutely, absolutely, I get it, and I agree 1,000,000% with you.
Got to mention another track on that final chapter, "And Made You King," the bass.
Yeah, be careful with that one too. That might blow up some speakers too. I think I was mad on that track too. So who died and made you king? Yeah, man. And sometimes those lyrics actually help push the music, because I did the music track and then I listened to it. I said, nah, it's got to have a little more yump to it. So I went in there and twisted it, and I really wanted it to kind of bounce all over the place, and that helped bring it out. So it's kind of a back and forth sometimes between the lyrics and the music. So sometimes I'll do a track, then do the lyrics, and then say, no, we need to put that music or that bass or that bump in front, and that's what we did with "And Made You King."
Do you usually work on multiple tracks at one time, or you kind of focus and
I try to focus the best. I like to get like a whole gumbo soup going. I'll try to do 30 songs, but it'll be mostly the music, unless I may add the hook, and then I'll come back with the main verses, if you will. But sometimes, like on that BMF track, that all hit at once. It was just weird how that one came about. That beat was so strong, I couldn't stop. I said, oh, and the idea started coming. I said, oh, I got to go into the booth and put this down here. So, but that definitely started with that crazy hook, but the verse followed immediately. I mean, almost instantaneously. That was pretty much that song was done about in 2 days, pretty much. Yeah.
How do you decide which ones you're going to throw some guitar on?
You know, it's that same concept that we were talking about earlier. If I look at my, I kind of put in my split personality hat. Sometimes a guitar player isn't needed, or a lead guitar player may not be needed. So
That's what I meant, lead guitar.
I tell them to stay home. Yeah, yeah, because it can add, or either sometimes it can drown out what I'm trying to do. If I can get through the song, I think of that whole. I go back to the Ernie Isley, not Ernie Isley, but the Isley Brothers track. Go for your guns. You know how it has the first half, and then it stops. Do 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 do, and then just busts out. Do, 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 and then all of a sudden he does that whole second half is the solo. That's my DNA. Sometimes I don't need that second half. I'll just say, okay, do 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 do, and stop. And it's time to move to the next song. But I'm always thinking about adding that second half, which would be guitar solo or either maybe some crazy keyboard line to add more flavor to it, or like you and Ricky Vincent would say, stretch it out, so that the funk heads can keep that that vibe going. But that song by the Isley Brothers, that "Go for Your Guns," is, man, that's my template. I love how they did that. How they just, I mean, the song, the first half is strong by itself. That was, but then to break it down, put a little groove in between, let you know this is another song, but it's the same song as before, but we're gonna feature that guitar. So that's kind of how it's really no decision until the very, very end to say, do we really need this, or do I want to have it really part of the song? Because some of them need it, some of them don't.
That's my all-time favorite Isley's album.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And I never get tired of hearing that one either.
I was listening to it the other day. That's why it just came to mind. I was like, it's classic. And they were doing, think about it, they were doing part ones and part twos way back then and putting them on the album, letting you know you're getting part one and part two. By the 45, you get part one, then you got to flip it over to get part two. So those are good old days, man. Those are really the good old days.
What tripped me out on those, though, is that, Go for Your Guns is atypical, but usually you could not tell where part two came on from part one. I mean,
right. Yeah. But then that would be the engineer's job when they're getting ready to. Okay, no, we got to cut it because we can only get so much on a 45 because that's what 45s we're still selling, right? So yeah, they have to work their match.
Well, the first 45s I bought was Fight the Power.
Let me bring to light something too, which is kind of part of my template. Aqua Boogie, the 12-inch. Aqua Boogie, the 12-inch. A monster song by itself, but once it gets towards the end, after it has that Moog bridge and that and then and then if you're getting ready to get more for what you're funking for, all they did was take it back to the beginning and start it all over again without the vocals. I love that. That was just genius. They didn't have to call back any studio musicians. Nobody. That was all in the mix with the engineers. So that right there, that was another part of my template. Do I need to stop it and start it all over again and just let the music play, or do I have to do it like the Isley Brothers, stop it and start it all again and put a solo? So it all depends on the vibe of the song, is what I'm trying to get at. But that 12-inch and that Isley Brothers, those are classic examples, excuse me, of how you can take something that's great already and make it even greater.
Yeah, no doubt. I can definitely see those two. But one other one that I'll add personally is the One Nation 12-inch. The way.
No, wait.
Adding Mike's guitar in.
Hold on. But see, that one was a little different because if you really listen to that, there's a lot of engineering and studio edits, right? I mean, especially those breaks. Man, I wish we could put it on right now. Just listen to it, and I could point them out to you. I mean, every 8 bars, how he just they would stop it and bring it back, stop it, bring it back, stop it, bring it back, stop it, bring it back, and then on that fourth time, take it to that bridge, take out all the vocals, and then just have the do-de-o-dos coming down, and then bring in Mike Hampton for the guitar solo. Genius. Talking about arrangements. Genius arrangements. They sat down and really said, okay, how are we going to keep the people dancing but funk them at the same time? That was a true blending of Parliament Funkadelic. That 12-inch One-Nation. Genius. And then
Also,
if you flip that over, you get the whole guitar part.
Well, also just the audio quality of it. The grooves were spread out on the 12-inch. The sound was phenomenal on that too.
Yeah, that was on Warner Brothers. I remember getting that for $3.99 at I forget the name of the store. I'm sure it's not in business anymore, but I remember getting that. Once I got that 12-inch, I wore it out. It was just ridiculous, man. It took me on a ride every time I was started. And you know, if you really listen to the very beginning, I mean, right when they're starting out, you could tell whether or not it's the 12-inch or it's the album. They say something really quick and it gets cut short. You know what? When you got time, we'll break down that One-Nation 12-inch, because this is a lot of little hidden gems in that thing, man. It's all-time great 12-inch. I remember it was in a jacket and it said disco at the top. Do you remember that? It was like Warner Brothers cover and it said disco. I was like, man, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no,
so you got it.
Here, I can go grab it and bring it in, yeah.
Classic, man. Classic.
Hey, so we're almost up to date here, Phil.
Yeah, where are we?
We're Futures Now, baby.
Where is the future? The future's now. Huh? Oh.
Yeah. So, which makes me think of that Pleasure record. But
damn, that reminded me of Cosmic Slop, though.
Oh, yeah.
What they
Sound-wise.
were saying, yeah, because we're universal children. They were singing the same type of thing. I was like, what? But Pleasure was so deep, man. They didn't know what to do with that group. They were jazz, they were funk. They just didn't know. Their stuff was next level at the time, and the record companies just didn't know what to do. And now I'm just gonna say that. It just seems like they didn't know how to. There was so many other deep cuts on those albums that they were putting out there that they just didn't get played, and that was kind of sad.
Yeah,
but I definitely love some Pleasure. Pleasure was tight.
And those guys are great. I mean, I had Nate and Michael Hepburn on the show. I mean, they were great.
Man, I gotta go dig up their shows. Check it out. Oh, good.
Yeah, you'll really dig that.
Okay.
So when did it become apparent to you that, hey, I'm not like taking such a break, I'm actually coming back?
I turned around and looked, because I always keep a file of new songs versus old stuff. When I had 6 songs already done, vocals and all. I was like, wait a minute, I guess I'm not done. And then after I was up to that 6 tracks, I can go on and do another CD, another album. Let me concentrate and put something together that's strong, and hopefully that my funk people will truly love and enjoy. Some of the words, or some of them might be a little risque, but it hits the point. I started using some more not samples. It was more of a the Mac format. I think we had talked about. You thought I was on a Mac. Most of my stuff has been I've used the PC format. Some of those tracks I started using my Mac with it, and it gave me a different soundscape that I was able to work with. Which, like on that track "F with You," that's all Mac stuff, and for me to be able to leave enough room to come back with the live bass and little guitar riffs and keyboards, and it really opened up another world that I hadn't even really been messed with. I was always a PC person, but the Mac over here kind of just opened up another door. I'm already thinking about my next project. It's going to be even crazier, but we'll wait. No rush. We got plenty of time.
And Ricky actually made his way onto 2 cuts on this one.
Yeah. Now, yeah, Rick is always around. I like to say around the corner. Even if he just breathes on the album or a cut. I think he just breathes on one of those. On I Deliver the Funk. I think he goes. Ah. I said, oh man, I guess I got to give you credit for that, buddy.
Well,
Yeah, it's some crazy names you may see on there. I'm going way back to Beatmaster P. That was back in my rap days. Mr. Clean. I was just pulling out every name that I may have used over my 30-year career. I mean, in and out, but nothing really took off more so than coming full circle back to this whole PTFI persona. I think that's going to be the hook, line, and sinker going forward. I like it. It's short to the point. Some folks know who it is, know where I came from, and it seems to work out. So I will keep funking as long as people want to hear funk. That's kind of my decree. If you want to hear some funk, I'll keep doing it.
hey, God bless you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
I gotta mention some highlights for me on this one. Hold On.
Okay. That's got Mr. Maurice Jackson back. He was the guy who showed me how to literally play guitar back when I want to say the late '80s, early '90s. We were in a band called Neutron, just playing gigs. One of the when you talk about rhythm guitar players, one of the baddest rhythm guitar players. Unknown. We could do a whole song with all the folks that I've probably touched because there's so many artists that don't get that extra notoriety. You know, it's the local guys that are, you know, paying their dues in the clubs or playing the gigs. He was one of them, and he was in town, and I said, man, I got to get you on the track. I'm trying to finish this album up. I think you can probably add some of your little swift rhythm stuff on here, and sure enough, man, he brought that track to life. We started from scratch, nothing, and we did that track literally like less than 24 hours. I mean, one night, put the bottom together. The next day, he flew home. I said, man, I want you to send me. I need a lead on this thing. He sent it to me, put it together, and it was pretty much done. So, Maurice Jackson. Bad cat, man. He actually showed up he does that crazy solo on Dr. Illenstein's album on Mind, Body, and Soul. There's a track on there called Mind, Body, and Soul. Guitar part is crazy. That's one where it just goes and goes and goes. So that's one of those instrumental tracks where we just said, okay, man, just do your thing. And he did it. So it's pretty cool.
Never Gonna Talk About It.
Never gonna talk about it, never gonna joke about it. Yeah, that was a fun track too. That's a fun one.
My Cheerios.
That's my whole. Hey, well, before we get to Cheerios, that whole concept around never gonna talk about it, never gonna joke about it. There's a lot of folks on social media where they tell on themselves, and what I mean by that, you got all these. I don't know what you want to call them. some folks that may be not doing what they're supposed to do, they pick up their phone and post themselves on social media.
Incriminate
Why are you
themselves.
going to do that? Why would you snitch on yourself? I mean, stop it. Put your phones. If you, I'm not going to promote doing bad, but if you're going to put your phone away, it's enough cameras out here to record you already. So everyone's worried about Big Brother watching us. Everyone has cameras at home and at work and on street corners. You don't need to say, "Oh, look at what I'm doing." Nobody really cares. But do what you must. But I'm never going to talk about it and never going to joke about it. Not that I'm doing anything bad, but that's just what I'm not going to do.
So yeah, My Cheerios. What's that about?
There was a commercial where it was a mixed couple. The dad was laying on the couch, the mom was standing up, and somehow it created this uproar about how someone's being lazy and why would you do this? Why would you have a mixed couple pushing Cheerios? Well, the way I saw it was, I love my Cheerios. I love for integration and mixed or matched. It doesn't matter. I thought it was a great commercial. It was a little different for the time. I don't know if you saw the commercial, but it was the dad was laying on the couch and he had his Cheerios, and the little girl came over and was trying to help him with his Cheerios, and the mom just walked by, and I was like, oh man, that's cool. A lot of people didn't see it as cool. A lot of folks got upset. This is when I was still, looking at social media back then. So some of my concepts that I use for some of the new stuff, I'm just getting around to putting it out now. But this is based on an old commercial that I saw. So that's why you hear me say, don't funk with my Cheerios. Leave my Cheerios alone. Let us come together. It's no reason for us to have a commercial with just this type of people or just those type of people. You can blend them all together and we can have Cheerios together. So that's kind of, I'm going back to the old school of subliminally trying to pick your brain to let you know that, yeah, sounds like I'm talking about just a box of Cheerios, but no, I'm actually talking about, I want to be able to blend everything and everybody together, so that there's no divisions. I look at, when I see people that like funk, I see multiple shades of people that love funk. It's not just one type of people, it's all type of people. So it's a goofy title, but I really made the word sound really strange. I didn't want to be super clear on that track. I wanted that to be something you really got to try to hear what I'm trying to say, because I'm talking about a biological connection of trying to blend things together, especially people, so that we're not all in our corner, you're in your corner, and now I'm just going to live happily ever after. No, we want to come together and try to make a beautiful thing together. That's my Cheerios. I don't know if you knew it was that deep, so I'm
I wasn't sure it was that deep. I appreciate the explanation. What I'm wondering is, though, you mentioned about sending that one track to the NBA. Did you send this one to like Kellogg's or?
You know what? See, look, I think I will. No, see, but it's kind of, it might be too funky for him, man.
Yeah, probably so.
I don't know.
But
hey, you never know, right?
Yeah.
Never freaking. You know what? I think I will, just for the funk of it now, and just say, hey, you may want to think about using this in the background of one of your commercials.
Yeah, you better be careful. That it might have an attorney tell you to cease and desist using the Cheerios name.
Okay, and wait a minute. And I will. No problem. Throw it to the side. Move on to the next. Nope. That might be. Hey, that might be the hump I need to get over. Is actually try to get a cease and desist letter, right? Who knows?
That'll put you on the map.
Yeah.
The next couple really level some good shots at the man in the White House these days. And Bumpity Bump, the one that has been the one that you led the album with.
Right, that was actually released a year before the album. If you notice, I released that on January 1st of 2019, and then I released the entire album on January 1st of 2020. So yeah, I was angry. I was a little angry because it looks like we were going nowhere, and a lot of stuff was just being piled up, and nobody was doing anything. It just seems like we were just that James Brown record. We were talking loud and saying nothing. It just was really just getting under my skin. So, and like you said, sometimes we do our best or worst when we're a little angry. So that's why I went on and just said, let me put this out. Some folks liked it. Some people heard the little funkadelic part. When we get together, doing our thing, it's bumpity bump. So I tried to tie it back to the funk as usual. So I got some negative stuff when I started talking about the Facebook part. Some people told me they were upset that I mentioned that people would sell out to Facebook for like $100 if they stop using Facebook for a week, but will want more money if they get it longer. So the version that's got released first, it has it over there because that's like the quote long version. On the album, I cut all of that out. So if you really want to hear the long version, you got to do a different download than what's on the album. I don't know. Maybe I should have just left that part on the album, but I said, you know what? I get it. Some of us are sensitive. I'll take out the only part I'll take out is the Facebook part because the rest it's got to stay. Because I'll talk about Facebook later in another song.
Was it your intention to have such a long gap from when that came out to the full record?
Right. See, remember I said I thought that was pretty much just going to be it. Within the first 6 months, I'd already had another 6 songs just out of habit because I got a routine. On the weekends, late at night, I don't go out and party. I come to the studio. Go in my studio, it's right here, safe. I can pour myself a little beverage, and before I knew it, I had over half of the album done. And I said, you know what? Let me concentrate and build on this album. And you know what? Wow, 2020, excuse me, 2020 is coming. So I made a challenge to myself. I said, you know what? I bet I can get this done and have it released on the first day of the year. So then I ramped it up and said, let me get this done. And sure enough, I was able to get it done. Yeah. It wasn't a full 79 or 80 minutes of music. This one was only an hour long, which is still enough to get your funk on too, I believe.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And lo and behold, if Stephen motherfucking does what he likes to always do, he'll take one of my tracks and he might do the long version. So you might want to be on the lookout for some remixes down the line.
Nice. Yep. And I love the closer, Moog is we're talking about how to pronounce it.
You got it right. Most people will say Moog Control, but it's actually Moog Control. I'm okay with people calling it Moog still. They've been calling it Moog for 40 years, but once I found out that his actual name, the creator of the instrument, his name was Bob Moog, I said, you know what? I want to try to let the Funketeers know what the real name is, because we've seen it around for a long time, especially with Junie. I mean, not Junie. I'm sorry. Bernie. But Junie and Bernie, Junie was such a keyboard wizard, and Bernie is such a orchestrator of the folk when it comes to keyboards. I'll give props to both of them.
That track especially, though, conjures thoughts of Bernie.
Absolutely. I know Rick, he was like, man, I'm going to use that for my next CD. I said, man, It's coming out on the first. I don't know if you're gonna be ready before the first. So you might see that revised because he likes to reuse some of my tracks. I'm like, man, not too many people have access to a lot of my tracks, but the professor does, so he's earned that.
So by now, I mean, if you built up sort of like a core following, do you feel?
I feel it's a core following, but it can definitely grow some more. I mean, whoever wants to listen, it's all there. It's all on iTunes and Spotify and all these other formats that are there for the listener. Um, there's always room. There's always room to grow. I know for myself though, the format that I'm using, I'm really comfortable with it. I don't know what the next project holds. I really just I like just listening to the body of work sometimes and see what I've done, what I'm doing, and then I can try to figure out what I'm going to do from that.
Is there anyone else out there today that you hear and you kind of like?
I want to say Gary. Give me a second because I don't want to blow it.
Gary Clark?
Yes. Oh my goodness. That dude right there, man. He's been around for a while, and I don't know if he's considered made it or hasn't made it, but the production of his latest album, whoever engineered and gave it that sonic quality, it's the kind of stuff that I like to hear. I mean, he's got his guitar riffs and vocals and all that, but the overall sonic quality of that album is just top tier notch stuff. So yeah, definitely that guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's this other lady, and I don't know her name, but she goes by Her. That's Her. Her productions are pretty sonically sound too. And if you kind of follow what I'm looking for in music that I like, the overall production has to have like a sonic quality to it. Because if it doesn't, it just blends in with all of the other, I don't want to say noise, but the other noise that's out there. I like stuff that has a sonic quality that makes it kind of stand out a little bit. And those two kind of just stand out just a little bit. They're not way out there, but who's ever doing their production and doing their producing and engineering and then the arrangements, they're pretty top notch to me right now.
Yeah, Gary Clark I know pretty well.
Oh,
Her I've heard of, but I couldn't say, I haven't heard a whole album.
What and you know what and what's so weird though, because the way I listen, I couldn't even tell you any of the titles of their songs, but I love the production of their albums because I'm still at the phase of just getting through this overall sonic quality of the album. So,
well, Gary Clark went from being really sort of a mainstream blues kind of player
I can see that.
To where that record is like way beyond very much producer's album. Yeah. So ambitious. It's much more ambitious.
Yeah, absolutely. Who else? Tell me what's some of yours. Let's see. Maybe I'm just drawing a blank. What are some of your some artists today that's out there?
Well, anyone who's doing some funk to like even overseas like Octave Pussy and
absolutely. I dig them too. Absolutely. What was that other group? I think you mentioned them earlier. The big Get Down or something like that.
Oh yeah, Big Ol' Nasty Get Down, and also I like Bootsy's protege bass player, Freak Bass. Yeah.
Have you heard the new track?
I like the last record a lot.
Yeah, he has a track, man. It's like Get Ready for the Funk Show, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, hot track.
Yeah.
I like that. And Freebase has been paying his dues for a long time now. So much props to him. That dude, he's sticking with it and just keeping it on the one and not changing nothing, trying to keep it funky. And I look to these names that we're saying because we know them, but the rest of the world may not know of all of them because they're not in that top 40 repetitious rotation.
Now they're coming for the Motet. I don't know if you've heard them. They're really
No,
hot out of Denver. I mean, they keep true to the funk.
really?
Dumpster Funk out of New
Yeah,
Orleans.
yeah, Dumpster Funk. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Galactic, also out
Galactic.
of New Orleans.
Okay.
Um, there's a lot of groups like that that are still keeping the funk alive. Lettuce.
Yeah, 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 yeah. See, so I was just trying to pull. It's hard to just pull them out the sky like that. When you say, "Hey, what are you listening to today?" All of the above. But
Yeah.
on my playlist, I still listen to the old stuff too now
Oh yeah.
because I find when I say old stuff, I mean the old stuff. Just because makes me feel good, right? Because it's that stuff that I'm comfortable with and what I like.
I mean, to give you an idea, it's just this week I got that.
Oh, okay. Absolute
Got
meters,
that.
right? Oh.
Power. Any one way.
Oh.
So.
So yeah, so it's hard to just say just one or two. It's all of the above, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad that a lot of these cats are still just doing it.
Oh man, so glad.
Yeah, because it's tough. I mean, funk is not easy. It's easy while you're funking, but to keep funking is kind of hard. Like George said, ain't that funking kind of hard? And yeah, it is. But we still do it because we love it. And then while we're doing it, it's actually easy. But to just keep doing it, doing it, doing it. And funking can get kind of hard.
Is there anybody that you're sort of you have a wish list that you could collaborate with?
I haven't did anything with Bootsy. I would like to do something with him because I know he has the shoulder issue with playing and stuff. So I would like to get on a track with him, kind of like how we did something with George before it gets, we're not getting any younger, right? So I would like to do that definitely with him. He's on the wish list. And I'm thinking on Zoot's next project, we're trying our best to get something with him on it. So keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully that'll come to light.
I think.
And then other than that,
playing bass in the studio.
Oh, see, great. See, so I just remember hearing something about his shoulder or something was happening to where it was getting kind of tough on him to keep playing, right? So.
Well, I heard it was because of his ear issue.
I
heard it was an ear issue. So playing live with that bass live is why he can't do it. But I think still in the studio he can play.
Yeah, see, and that's got to really suck because I was joking with my wife, and I was telling her, well, my eyes, I got to wear glasses, getting older, but it seems like somehow my hearing is getting better. It's strange. I mean, other parts of my body are catching up to me, but the hearing, for some reason, after listening to all of this music over these decades, and my hearing seems to be great. And just for you to tell me right now that it might be something going on with his ear, and hearing is his life. I mean, being able to hear. I mean, if you can't hear, there's no music, right? I mean, that's got to be. Oh man.
I think hopefully he's fine, but he can't risk it with the live thing. Anything else on your sort of bucket list musically?
No, nothing that I could think of. Just the format is to continue to do what I'm doing, produce the people that are in my corner that's been with me for all these years, and I'm not going to step out of my lane too much, as the kids say. I'm going to pretty much stay in my lane and keep on funking and see what happens. Meeting you was really I mean, I'm so glad we did this. I'm happy that you feel the music. You just don't hear the music, you actually feel it. And when I connect with somebody like that, hopefully, we'll be funkers for life, right? Because it's rare that you find someone who can feel what you're talking about sometimes. A lot of people hear you, but they don't feel you. And you, I see that you feel this, so that means a lot to me. So if anything comes your way that you think I might want to funk with or not, by all means, you know how to get in touch with me.
It's a new loop. A new loopzilla.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
Hey, back at Truth and Rhythm headquarters. Thank you for joining us on another magical ride with Truth and Rhythm. Whether you're watching or listening, as always, thank you so much for your continued interest and support. Be sure to subscribe. Go to YouTube. Go to the Funk and Stuff channel. That's where Truth and Rhythm lives and breathes and thrives. Also, goodies here like TIR quick takes. And if you subscribe, you know what? You get the show before anyone else. It's free. If you love jazz, funk, R&B, soul, you can't miss it. Pass it along. Tell a friend. Tell family. This audience is growing, and it is a beautiful thing, all coming together for the love of this great music. Also, if you can throw us a buck or two, we could use the support financially, keeping the lights on, keeping the servers going, all these expenses. If you can help support the program, whatever you can give, much appreciated. Go to the funkandstuff.net website, and on the right-hand side of every page, you just click and you can donate through PayPal, credit card, whatever. Very easy to do and so much appreciated. And if you do a sizable donation, I will mention you on the program. Also, drop me a line. Email me at scottg@funkandstuff.net. Let me know who else you'd like to see on the show, what you enjoy about the music. Let's just kibitz and talk about stuff, talk music. You'll find that I respond very quickly, and I much enjoy the rapport and the camaraderie and the interaction. Always remember, this is your show, The True Music Lover. So for now, that's all the time we have for this one. It's a wrap. As always, Scott Dr. GX Goldfine saying, keep on vibrating to the rhythm of the one.
Hit me, yeah! Y'all better take some insurance out on your booty tonight. Because we are not responsible. Ain't it fucking that?